Welcome to the DCTV News at Noon program. I'm Kelsey Kiesling.
And I'm Kendra Cook. Dolores County Broadcasting Network is the producer of DCTV, and the Southwest TV Translator Association underwrites the news show.
If you have a news topic or tips you'd like to see covered, give us a call. The studio number is 677-4119.
Today's show is live on Tuesday at noon and rebroadcast at 3 and 6 p.m. and again re-aired on Friday at noon, 3 and 6. Today is August 22nd, 2017, and now the news at noon.
Reported by the Durango Herald, a 76-year-old South Dakota man died Monday afternoon after a two-vehicle crash on U.S. Highway 160 east of Durango. Colorado State Patrol Captain Adrian Driscoll said Glenn Henderson Jr. was taken to Mercy Regional Hospital in critical condition after the crash happened at about 10:30 a.m., but he died at around 3 p.m. According to Driscoll, Henderson was headed east on Highway 160 near Elmore's Corner in a 2010 Toyota 4Runner when he drifted off the right side of the road. Henderson then overcorrected to get back in his lane and hit an oncoming vehicle, a 2004 Hyundai Elantra headed west on the front driver's side. Henderson's vehicle went several feet down an embankment. Driscoll said drugs, alcohol, and excessive speeds are not a factor. Instead, it appears Henderson experienced a medical condition, he said. The driver of the vehicle that was hit was identified as 20-year-old Desiree Smith of Durango. She was listed in moderate condition, Driscoll said. Both drivers were wearing seatbelts at the time of the crash. The crash temporarily closed Highway 160 near Elmore's Corner late Monday morning, but the road reopened just before noon, Driscoll said.
From the Cortez Journal, the Connect 4 broadband initiative has a new strategy to move forward with a countywide internet project that's been stalled since early 2016. For more than a year, representatives from the Cortez, Mancos, Dolores, and Montezuma County governments have been trying to come up with a way to provide faster, more affordable internet services, but cost has proved to be a significant barrier. In March, county commissioners approved a proposal by DataSafe Services and Fast Track Communications to become the government's private partner in the broadband initiative. But at an August 10th Connect 4 meeting, they announced that they would take a second look at the other 4 companies that submitted proposals as well. Staff members from the Montezuma Cortez School District also attended the meeting at the request of the Montezuma County Commissioners, who hope to get students involved in marketing affordable broadband. Previous ideas put forward by the Montezuma County and Cortez governments called for taxpayer dollars to pay for some of the fiber infrastructure necessary to provide internet to the region. A question that didn't make it onto the 2016 November ballot would have asked for a sales tax increase to pay for it. But at the latest meeting, County Commissioner Keenan Ertel said he no longer thinks infrastructure should be the county's responsibility. Cortez Mayor Karen Sheik said the problem is that there aren't enough companies willing to risk an expensive infrastructure investment in a rural area like Montezuma County. She said the initiative strategy has to include ways to sell the project to companies and the community. Sukla and the other commissioners believe the student population may be the impetus to growing a demand for high-speed access, and that this approach could help Montezuma County's broadband project get off the ground. If Connect 4 can prove there's enough interest in Montezuma County to make a broadband company's investment worthwhile, he said more companies will be interested in doing business there. An unscientific survey conducted earlier this year by Empire Electric Association showed more than 80% of Montezuma County residents would be interested in faster internet if it were available. Sukla suggested outreach from students could give Connect 4 even more hard data on the region's internet use and help make for a stronger argument for companies to move there. In the meantime, all the members of Connect 4 agreed to widen the search for companies willing to partner with local governments instead of relying on DataSafe and Fast Track as sole broadband providers. City Manager Shane Hale suggested setting up interviews with the companies, including Foresight Wireless, Farmers Telephone, Mammoth Networks, and Zoomacom, that submitted broadband proposals back in January. Members of the group decided to reevaluate the responses they received from their earlier request for proposal on the broadband project, put together a summary of the new information they've gathered, and decide on a date to invite the responding companies back for discussions.
According to the Cortez Journal, about 30 educators, administrators, and parents gathered last Monday night in Ignacio with the Colorado Department of Education to discuss ways to attract young people to work in education. The meeting was one in a series of meetings the state departments of education and higher education are hosting throughout the state as Colorado faces a teacher shortage. The number of college students graduating with education degrees, as well as those interested in the field, has been steadily falling since 2010, said Mary Bivens, Director of Educator Development with the Colorado Department of Education. Among areas facing personnel shortages are secondary math and science, special education, bilingual education, and speech pathologists. The series of statewide meetings came about after a state law sponsored by Representative Barbara McLaughlin, Democrat of Durango, and Senator Don Coram, Republican of Montrose, was passed this year to require the education departments to develop action plans to resolve teacher shortages. Shortages are more prominent in districts in rural Colorado, but suburban and urban districts are likely to begin experiencing them as well. CDE research said several key issues that keep people from being interested in the education field include external perceptions of what teachers do and how they work, limited salaries for new educators, increasing costs of college degree. Retention also is an issue according to the research. In Colorado, nearly 25% of teachers leave the profession in the first 4 years. The reasons most cited for leaving are building climate and relationships, poor pay, and large workload.
From the Durango Herald, noise is the biggest source of oil and gas complaints among residents in the state of Colorado. During the past 8 years, as houses and well pads inched closer across the state, complaints to the Colorado Oil and Gas Conservation Commission boomed, especially complaints about noise. In 2010, state regulators fielded 240 complaints. By 2013, that number had risen only to 252, according to the Denver Post. But last year, 419 complaints were filed with the state. Through July of this year, the tally is already higher at 704 complaints. This year in La Plata County, 6 noise complaints have been filed. Last year, only 2 noise complaints were filed. The biggest reason for the jump in statewide complaints is not concern about water safety or fear over explosions, it's noise. More than 1 noise complaint per day on average has been filed so far this year. Matt Lepore, the director of the Colorado Oil and Gas Conservation Commission, which is in charge of regulating oil and gas production in the state, said it's intrusive. It really is. You feel like your house is being violated in some kind of way. But the Colorado Oil and Gas Conservation Commission often does not punish noisy oil and gas operators, in part because there's only so much companies can do about it. The commissioner's rules set baseline noise levels that operations are supposed to exceed, but they also provide exemptions for the noisiest activities, such as drilling, that allow for higher levels. Regulators have no ability to punish companies that repeatedly violate limits for the most pernicious kind of industrial noise, the low bass-like rumblings that are felt as well as heard. The strongest action the rules allow the Colorado Oil and Gas Conservation Commission to take is ordering a company, quote, to obtain a low-frequency noise impact analysis by a qualified sound expert.
Reported by the Cortez Journal, the Montezuma-Cortez RE1 school district reported gains Thursday on its student performance testing, but it fell short of the state average. The Colorado Department of Education on Thursday released results of the 2017 state tests known as the Colorado Measures of Academic Success, which tests whether 3rd through 8th graders are meeting expectations. Most Colorado students fell well short of expectations on the annual Partnerships for Assessment of Readiness for College and Careers math and English tests, which are meant to measure whether students are on track to be prepared for life after high school. Statewide, only 42.3% of students met or exceeded expectations in English, up 1.9 percentage points from last year, and in math, 32.8% of students were on target, according to the PARCC Math and English Language scores. The Montezuma-Cortez District RE1 results showed 23% of elementary students met or exceeded expectations in language arts, a gain of 2.3 percentage points compared with 2016 results. 16% met or exceeded expectations in math, a loss of 0.3 percentage points. According to Hockness, Montezuma-Cortez had a participation rate of 93%. Statewide, 40% of 3rd graders met or exceeded expectations, a gain of 2.7 percentage points compared with 2016. 44% of 4th graders and 46% of 5th graders met or exceeded expectations. Hawkiness's district also showed improvements at Cortez Middle School with 19% of students meeting or exceeding standards in language arts and 11% meeting or exceeding standards in math. At the high school, 14% met or exceeded expectations in language arts and 8% met or exceeded expectations in math. Hawkiness also said the high school SAT test revealed similar results, with half of students demonstrating college-ready performance in language arts and a quarter of students in math. In the upcoming year, the RE1 district plans to focus on math, the weakest area of study revealed in the assessment. And now let's take a look at our weather.
High pressure to our east and an area of low pressure to our west has caused wind flow to become more southerly. This southerly flow has brought in more moisture and will allow for an increase in clouds and the chance for showers and storms. Additionally, a disturbance will track through the area today, enhancing the coverage of storms. This disturbance will lift northward this evening and into Wednesday, resulting in another round of mountain storms. The main threat from stronger storms will be localized heavy rain, lightning, and winds up to 40 miles an hour. Temperatures will cool in response to clouds and showers. Drier air will begin to move into the region from the northwest on Friday and through the weekend. This will bring generally drier and warmer conditions, with temperatures climbing back to above seasonal levels. In the national forecast, severe thunderstorms will march eastward across the northeastern United States, threatening to trigger damage and delays into Tuesday night. With more heavy rains in the Midwest, there were at least 16 water rescue calls in Kansas City, Missouri, as motorists found themselves stalled in high waters. The National Weather Service issued a flood emergency for the Kansas City area after storms dropped at least 6 inches of rain early this morning. In the Gulf Coast, Tropical Storm Harvey may spread drenching rain, gusty winds, and rough surf as far north as Texas, beginning later in the week. After moving away from Mexico's Yucatan Peninsula, Harvey will regenerate and venture northwestward and over the open waters of the Gulf of Mexico on Wednesday. Heavy rain, gusty thunderstorms, and rough surf are to be expected in southern Texas and northeastern Mexico as Harvey approaches. The main threat is likely to be flooding. Our local 5-day in Dove Creek shows highs just above the 80-degree mark, with lows sitting in the mid-50s overnights through the weekend. The brunt of the afternoon storm potential ends Friday, setting us up for a really nice fall-feeling weekend. And now, back to the news.
According to the Durango Herald, in the largest crackdown of the year, Colorado Department of Transportation, Colorado State Patrol, and 118 local law enforcement agencies will conduct a statewide The Heat Is On DUI blitz through September 5th to keep impaired drivers off Colorado roads during Labor Day events. In July 25th, people were killed in crashes. In July, 25 people were killed in crashes that involved an impaired driver, which is the highest number seen in 1 month since 2014. The Labor Day enforcement last year cited 974 impaired drivers, an average of 54 arrests per day, and was the third highest arrest total of the 14 DUI campaigns conducted in 2016. Last Labor Day, 7 of the 9 people killed in traffic crashes were involved in alcohol-related crashes. Darrell Link, director of the CDOT Office of Transportation Safety, said in a news release. This is the most impaired driving-related fatalities on Labor Day in 9 years. It just goes to show that it only takes a few people to make misguided decisions to change several people's lives forever. The last The Heat Is On enforcement period was held August 4th through 14th in response to the Sturgis motorcycle rally in South Dakota and cited 526 motorists for impaired driving. First-time DUI offenders can be punished with up to 1 year in jail, license suspension, and steep fines. Penalties increase for repeat offenders. For more information and tips for staying safe on the road, visit CDOT website.
From the Cortez Journal, for just $10, senior citizens can buy passes that give them lifetime entry to national parks and other public lands, as well as discounts on campgrounds and other amenities. Around her birthday, this one woman mentioned in the article says she learned that she'd have to move quickly to take advantage of that deal. The pass has cost $10 since 1994, but in December, Congress voted to increase the price to $80. On July 10th, in the middle of their busiest season, the National Park Service announced the new price would start on August 28th. So at the end of July, this woman hustled over to a U.S. Forest Service office about 10 miles away from her home, Conejo Peak Ranger District, which is part of the Rio Grande National Forest in southwest Colorado. You might as well save $70, says Morin, a retired former hospital worker. Once you're retired and on a limited income, that looks like a really good deal. She's one of about 2.5 million Americans who are expected to get the passes at the lower rate this year, more than 3 times the number who bought them last year, according to Kathy Cooper, a spokeswoman for the National Park Service. Most seniors get the passes at a national park they are visiting, but seniors can also apply online or by mail too, though there's a $10 processing fee. As the days tick down to the deadline, demand has surged. On any given day last year, public land agencies received about 100 online applications. Now they're getting about 10,000 a day, according to Cooper. The government switched to a new online system to try to handle the onslaught. Parks that are used to getting maybe 25 requests a year for passes are getting that many in a day. Cooper added the National Park Service printed and shipped about 400,000 extra passes, but some parks have run out. The passes can be used at more than 2,000 sites, including wildlife refuge, national forests, and places run by the Bureau of Land Management. They're good for any people traveling in the same passenger vehicle as a pass holder or for 3 additional adults. The U.S. Geological Survey, which processes the requests for passes, is overwhelmed. Currently, it takes 12 weeks for people who apply to receive the passes. In the meantime, the receipts are good for entry and discounts. All the interest increases the already long lines to get into national parks during the most popular time of year. At many parks, lines for passes snake through visitor centers. If you lose or have the pass stolen, you have to buy a new one, so some folks are planning ahead and buying 2 at once. The Park Service hopes all qualified Americans take advantage of the deal before it's gone.
Reported by the Cortez Journal, a 20-year federal health program that benefits children in low-income families could lose funding in December, officials report. The Children's Health Insurance Program provides health insurance for 74,000 low-income kids in Colorado and almost 1,000 pregnant women living below the poverty level. In Montezuma County, 570 children are enrolled in the program, and in La Plata County, 971. The program, known as CHIP, or CHIP, targets children ages 0 to 18, whose family makes too much to qualify for Medicaid but too little to pay for private health insurance. In Colorado, the plan is also known as Child Health Plan Plus, a public low-cost health insurance for children and pregnant women who earn too much to qualify for Health First Colorado, Colorado's Medicaid program. The federal program began in 1998 and is typically reauthorized every 2 years with a deadline for renewal of September 30th. But this time around, CHIP funding has not shown up in the budget, and that has alarmed health advocates, said Jeff Bontrager of the Colorado Health Institute. The Colorado Health Institute is preparing a brief that details the impact of losing the program and plans to publish it this month. If the program is lost, CHIP recipients would have to turn to options under the Affordable Care Act, also known as Obamacare. They could face higher out-of-pocket costs that they may not be able to afford, Bontrager said. Nationwide, 8.9 million children are enrolled with the CHIP program. Of those, roughly 2 million have chronic health conditions, including asthma, diabetes, epilepsy, and developmental disorders such as autism, according to a study published in Health Affairs. For more information about the Children's Health Insurance Program, contact the Pinion Project at 970-564-1195.
A DCTV exclusive, BLM Tres Rios Field Office Representative Keith Fox and Connie Clemenson, Field Manager, attended the Dolores County Commissioners meeting for their regularly scheduled updates on Monday, August 21st. One very important part of their communications with the county was to assert that they have made available a road and trail inventory interactive map online. The BLM is requesting input from the county residents as to the legitimacy of the listings, making sure that all trails being used are marked on the map. This information, along with a working relationship with Dolores County Canyon of the Ancients Trail Alliance and the Greater Dove Creek Chamber of Commerce in conjunction with the BOCC, will combine efforts towards the creation of a travel management plan for our county. The BLM brochure on this project states, with the increase of population in the western U.S., public lands have also seen an increase in use. The BLM is thrilled that people want to experience these amazing areas. The BLM is also entrusted with managing the land for commercial needs and for the recreational use and enjoyment of current and future generations. Connie Clemenson expressed that a main goal of the management plan is that the public lands are open to all types of users, from OHV to equestrian, bikers to hikers. The BLM statement continues that, quote, both motorized and non-motorized means of access across public lands can inadvertently damage fragile resources, such as wildlife, plants, soils, and cultural sites. By working together to develop a designated network of roads and trails, transportation and management will protect recreational access to public lands. These plans will provide the management foundation to prevent unnecessary closures or restrictions stemming from preventable resource damage or user conflict. Commissioner Julie Kibble expressed her concern of the two main obstacles in developing new routes and trails: the concern for significant archaeological sites or potential disturbances and the environmental impact to sensitive areas. At the conclusion of the meeting, it was summarized that the BLM will deal with any of those issues as they occur, that the main objective at this point is to start communications with the county and residents. After the meeting, Keith Fox was interviewed on Facebook Live with DCTV and off-camera explained that the process started with an aerial and satellite photo inventory, tracing everything from roads to animal trails, dry washes to rock formations. Then they went into the field on the ground to verify the inventory. So at this point, the BLM feels that they have the most accurate and up-to-date maps available to begin the conversation of not only what access routes are already out there, but what routes you, the residents, would like to see. You can supply information through the online interactive site or email comments to the BLM Tres Rios address or mail in comments. All of those contact points are linked up on our DCTV News at Noon Facebook page. Their brochure states the TTM prioritized areas are 1. Mancos and the Cortez area, not including Canyons of the Ancients, 2. the Greater Durango area, and 3. Northern Field Office area, Dry Creek Basin, Disappointment Valley, etc. An alternative to going to the online interactive site will be to come down to the Dolores County Courthouse basement and review a detailed map that will be posted on the wall very soon. Comments or concerns or suggestions can be given to the commissioners, to the Chamber of Commerce, or the Dolores County Canyon of the Ancients Area Trail Alliance. Comments must be submitted by October 1st.
And now for the Dolores County Sheriff's Roundup for the week of August 14th through the 20th. Rachel Cook was arrested for violation of a restraining order and a warrant for failing to appear. She was transported to Montezuma County Jail. Nathan Brannon was arrested for felony menacing, domestic violence, cruelty to animals, and harassment. He was transported to the Montezuma County Jail. An officer received a report of a possible break-in at a local residence. The case is under investigation. An early morning report of an assault and domestic violence occurred in Rico. Dolores County Sheriff's officers worked with Montezuma officers to resolve the incident as the suspect traveled into Montezuma County. Vivian Brissetti of Cortez was cited for reckless driving after she rammed into another vehicle while traveling toward Cortez after the assault. Charges are pending in the domestic assault case. An officer received and is currently investigating a report of cruelty to animals. An SOS message was sent by an injured hiker on Mount Wilson under the direction of the Sheriff's Office. Rico Search and Rescue, Classic Air Medical, and Olathe Spray responded. The hiker was located close by to their campsite and refused rescue transport due to feeling well enough to return to their party. Several reports were taken by dispatch of large amounts of smoke that appeared to be near the Colorado-Utah border. The Dove Creek Volunteer Fire Department responded with all available units. Once their first unit arrived, they confirmed that the fire was in San Juan County, Utah, but growing quickly and threatening farm and residential structures. Agner Fire Department and San Juan Fire Department out of Utah all responded with all available units. The Dolores County Road and Bridge responded with water units to support firefighters, and through coordinated efforts, the fire was contained without loss of life or structure. It is believed that the fire was man-made and started due to a spark from exhaust by an ATV or similar vehicle. That's it for today's roundup. Stay tuned for continuing updates.
Today's High Canyon Country happenings. Staff Sergeant Aaron Butler was killed in action on August 16th in Nangarhar Province, Afghanistan. The 27-year-old soldier from Monticello is a member of the Green Beret Special Forces. Butler was assigned to the Utah National Guard 19th Special Forces Group. Funeral services for Aaron Butler will begin at noon on Saturday, August 26th at the Monticello LDS Stake Center in Monticello, Utah. August 25th is National Park Free Day. And then also coming up August 25th through the 27th is the Ute Mountain Casino holding their annual powwow celebration. This Saturday, August 26th, at the State Line Bar and Grill, the 4th annual DC Rat Rod Nationals Car Show will be held adjacent to the facility. All cars and motorcycles are welcome. There is no entry fee. It runs from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Award ceremony at 3 p.m. There's a chance drawing to win an Engine by Victory engine machine. There will be live music and 50s style dress contest. All of these happenings are posted up on our DCTV News at Noon Facebook page, along with the YouTube replays, weather, and original stories and local posts. To share your event or information, contact us, dcbnnews@gmail.com, or call the station at 677-4119, and we'll be sure to get your news on air.
Thanks for tuning in. News at Noon airs live at noon Monday through Wednesday and then rebroadcast at 3 and 6 p.m. and again re-aired Thursday, Friday, and Saturday in the same order at noon, 3, and 6.
And be sure to check us out on Facebook. It's DCTV News at Noon. Please like us there and share it with a friend.
For Kendra Cook and everyone at DCTV with the News at Noon program out of Dove Creek, USA, I'm Kelsey Kiesling. Thanks for watching.